Alright everybody, with the release of NEL Rin, there's now about 5 different world classes for players to choose from in Blue Lock Rivals. And I'd even go as far as to say there's technically 6 because Botra is a really good ability and something that I even consider a world class style. So I thought today would be the perfect time to go ahead and rank every single world class including Botra that we have up to date, so we can go ahead and see which one is the worst and which one is the best. Now the way we're going to go ahead and do this video is I'm going to talk about every single ability and everything they got in their moveset, talk about their strengths and weaknesses, then go ahead and rank them. And honestly, that's about it. So on that note, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Like and subscribe if you guys enjoy this video. As always, enjoy. Alright, so at our number 6 spot, we have the one and only Toshi Sai. Now, I don't think this was too much of a shock from anybody. Toshi Sai is very outdated, and yeah, the power creep just got to it, just like a lot of the other styles. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it. First things first, his beautiful shot is just flat out horrible. The only way it's actually effective if you're close to the box, like really close, like I'm talking about face to face with the GK close to the box. And most people say you can use this for passing, but let's be honest, you guys, like what type of passes are you going to be hitting with beautiful shot? Like that thing is actually horrible. You cannot aim it and it is very slow, so like it's pretty much a waste of a move at this point. It's just horrible. Now we talked about the worst the bottom of the barrel Sai has. Now let's talk about the best abilities he has in his moveset, the magic turn and the heel flick. Now hands down, these are absolutely Sai's best moves in his moveset, but here's the catch. All right, they're combined. All right, they're combined moves. So in order to use heel flick, you have to use magic turn, and if you use magic turn, you have to use heel flick or metavision. So even though they are very solid abilities, you still have to use both of them if you want to just use one. And Sai's other ability, metavision, is also connected to these two abilities. And the unfortunate thing about metavision is that the power creep hit that hard as well. Whenever there's only about 3 world classes in the game, metavision was actually pretty overpowered, but with things like Rin, Kaiser, and even Don Lorenzo buffs coming in, metavision just isn't as good as it used to be. All right, you're probably not gonna even be able to tell if you're going against a metavision user. Like at this point in the game, like do we even notice when someone's using metavision? Like let's just be honest here. So yeah, it's decent, nothing overpowered, nothing too horrible. It's just, you know, mid. His next move is arm swipe. Now, a lot of you guys are probably thinking, yeah, this is his best move, but I heavily disagree. All right, I think magic turn and heel flick still got it because arm swipe is kind of fraudulent. All right, you guys, I think it is kind of a fraud ability because here's the thing: with all the abilities, with all the dribble abilities we have in this game now, if someone arm swipes you, you can literally just hold on to the ball. All right, I don't think I've been arm swiped once within the past month and actually lost the ball. Like I might fall over and get annoyed, but at the end of the day, I'm still gonna have the ball because the ball's still glued to your feet half of the time when someone uses arm swipe on you. So yeah, arm swipe is just kind of annoying for the player who's using it and the player who's getting it used on. Sai's next ability is perfect pass, which I mean it's kind of like metavision. I mean it's all right, but it's only useful when you have good teammates, which is like very rare in Blue Lock Rivals, unless you're playing with your friends, of course. So I mean there's really nothing much to say there. And finally, Sai's awakening, it literally just adds one move to his kit, and it's literally the most basic awakening in the game. You guys know the baseline for awakenings is getting a one shot move added to your kit, and that's pretty much what Sai's awakening is. I mean, it does look super cool, but at the end of the day, the shot is kind of mid. All right, it's literally a free block for any GK, and like there are rare awakenings on par with this. All right, Atoya and U20 Isagi's awakenings are kind of carbon copies when it comes to the shot. Like you literally keep the regular moveset and get one ability. But yeah, with that being said, yeah, that's Sai at number 6. Sai kind of got done dirty. It was supposed to get a huge rework a while ago when Carollo still had ownership over the game. Like he was supposed to have a move called Divine Destruction. His beautiful pass was supposed to get a huge buff, and there's supposed to be some cool visual reworks he was supposed to be getting, which were actually looking very promising. But as you guys know, that just never happened, and Miro and his new team kind of swept that under the rug, just leaving Sai pretty much in the dust. So that is our number 6. Alright, so at our number 5 spot, we actually have Botra. Now, Botra was honestly a close contender for the number 4, number 3 spot. And I'll tell you guys why it barely did not make the cut here in a bit, but let's go ahead and talk about its strengths and weaknesses. So Botra's first move is roulette, and yeah, it's just a very solid move. It's an iframe dribble move you can pretty much use wherever. And yeah, that's pretty much it, just very reliable. His next ability is monster steal, which is very useful, but not anything too crazy. But since it is also connected to roulette, you're pretty much not going to be using it that much. His next ability is is the smash lift shot, which is also connected to the roulette, but this is honestly one of the best shots in the game. I don't see enough people talking about it at all. The fact that it flings you up into the air and brings you forward, and you're able to unshift lock the shot, and on top of all that, you're able to aim it. Like, I won't say it's better than Rin's Destroyer's Domain shot or the Kaiser Impact, but it's definitely top tier. All right, it's definitely hanging with both of those shots. Now the next move we have is Butterfly Nutmeg. Now the Butterfly Nutmeg is also one of the best dribbles in the game. With this move, you can dribble up to 4 people at once, so pretty much you're frying the entire team if you're put in the right situation. And yeah, with that being said, that is about it for Botra's base moveset. It is a very strong moveset, but most of the moves are combined, like roulette, monster steal, smash lift. Those are all one ability. Butterfly Nutmeg is kind of its own thing, and other than that, there's nothing really much Botra has to offer. But it's still a serious contender for the number 4 and 3 spot just because of how useful these moves actually are. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about his awakening. So Botra's awakening is a top tier awakening. All right, it is top 3 awakenings in the game. You get 2 very powerful shots you can actually aim, and then you have Ginga Dribble on the side. That's literally just a free chance at a goal. So yeah, Botra is honestly a very serious contender for number 4 and number 3. If you guys feel like it should be moved up, be sure to let me know in the comments below. But let's go ahead and talk about our number 4. Alright, you guys, so at our number 4 spot, we have NEL Isagi, aka the most gutted world-class ability in the game right now. Now, I know a lot of you guys are using process of elimination right now and are figuring out what actually is above NEL Isagi right now. And before you guys go ahead and cook me in the comments, just stay with me and hear what I have to say. All right, but first things first, let's go ahead and talk about his direct shot. At this current point in time, the direct shot is the best thing Isagi has going for him. And the sad thing about this is that NEL Isagi's direct shot barely even scratched the top 5, if it even does in the first place. And the shot is fast, don't get me wrong, but it is very predictable when you're going against a real GK, and that is mainly because you cannot unshift lock this shot. And not only can you not unshift lock it, you also can't aim it. And out of all the world-class shot abilities, direct shot and beautiful shot are the only shots that you can't aim, meaning they just go in the same spot every single time. And yeah, unfortunately, that is the best thing NEL Isagi has going for it. Now, it does have a metavision ability just like Sai, and honestly, all I gotta say about this is it's literally just Sai's metavision. It's useful but not super overpowered. The power creep kind of got it, and I think in general metavision just needs a huge buff. Like, I think it should be longer, and I think you should have an option to disable all the crazy effects going on around you. It is cool and all, but I mean, it's pretty much unplayable whenever you got all that stuff around you. Now let's reverse back to the lefty shot. All right, the other variant of the direct shot. Now the lefty shot ability is an alright ability at best. It used to be the hands down best ability in the game, but since the nerf, it's just another steal. It is still very powerful, but the fact that you can get dribbled now and that you can't use it through iframes is kind of just mid. And then finally, let's talk about Isagi's dash. All right, the most gutted ability in his moveset. Honestly, there's just nothing much to say about it. All right, dash is barely viable anymore. You don't get iframes. They decrease the distance by over 50%, and it's just a bad move in general now. I wouldn't even consider dash a world-class ability. All right, you can stick this in the base Isagi's moveset and I wouldn't question it twice. Like, dash is just gutted. All right, it needs to just be reverted in general. I know it was super OP and annoying before the nerfs, but let's be honest here, literally every single world-class ability in the game has something overpowered about it, and Isagi just has nothing going for it anymore. So I'd either revert the lefty shot nerf or the dash nerf. Just don't do both, because yeah, nobody wants to go through that again. But finally, Isagi's awakening, the thing that actually saved him from not being number 5 on this list. He actually has like one of the best. All right, I'd even say it's probably a top 2, top 3 awakening in the game. He has Demon King, which is a top 2 shot in the entire game. Like, it's pretty much a guaranteed goal. And then he also has Twin Gun, which is also a pretty reliable shot in its own. And then finally, he has the True Direct Shot, which is literally just the Kaiser Volley but worse in every single way. So I mean, yeah, True Direct Shot kinda does it dirty, but Demon King definitely saves this entire awakening moveset. All right, you guys, so if we haven't already gotten controversial, now's the time, because we are now on to our number 3 ability, and I think you guys already know what it is. It's gonna be Don Lorenzo. Now, I hope by now I kind of convinced you guys why NEL Isagi is below this, because if there's gonna be any complaints about this list, I could definitely see a lot of people being mad that Don Lorenzo is over NEL Isagi. But I mean, you know, I hope I kind of explained to you guys why NEL Isagi is just worse. Like, it's literally the most gutted style in the game. But anyways, let's talk about Don Lorenzo. So first things first, first, he has a zombie dribble. Now, zombie dribble is a very reliable ability. It's literally just like Botra's roulette ability, but I think it actually goes a further distance, and it is also iframes. And then Don Lorenzo's other move is the heel flick, which is the exact same as Sai's, except it's not actually combined with the zombie dribble, making it much more viable than Sai's heel flick and magic turn. And then finally, he has golden defense. Now, Don Lorenzo only has these 3 moves to his name, but golden defense, I feel, saves it a ton. All right, it's hands down the best defensive move in the game because it can go through iframes, and not only can it go through iframes, it can block shots before it reaches the destination. All right, so if someone shoots a Kaiser impact from like half court, it's going top bins, you can use golden defense to block it very easily. Or if someone's using a crazy dribble like infinite dribbles or Rin's dribble move, you can literally just use golden defense and just hit the ball out of their hands. So yeah, I think this move is the best defensive move in the game by far. I think it's actually the only move in the game that can go through iframes. So yeah, golden defense is busted, and I think this ability alone just puts it above NEL Isagi. I mean, maybe if NEL Isagi's lefty shot went through iframes as well, it would go over Don Lorenzo. Actually, no, I know for sure it would go over Don Lorenzo if lefty shot still had iframes. But I mean, yeah, I just have to put Isagi below this one because it's just gutted. All right, to be fair, it's just gutted. Like NEL Isagi really only has 2 viable abilities, one of those being gutted, and both of them being in the same cooldown. Those 2 abilities being direct shot and lefty shot. So yeah, I think I'm pretty confident with my Don Lorenzo placement here, but let's go ahead and talk about his awakening. So Don Lorenzo's awakening is a top tier defensive awakening. All right, I don't think any defensive awakening is going to be able to top this. Even whenever they go ahead and eventually rework Aiku, I still don't think whatever they cook up for that rework is going to go over Don Lorenzo's. And his undead dribble is the same exact thing as Botra's Ginga dribble. It's literally just a infinite dribbles down the field for a free goal. But his next ability, counterattack, is really good. You guys know how Karasu and Rin, whenever they awaken, they have an auto trap. Don Lorenzo's counterattack is very similar to that, but the range on it is extremely overpowered. All right, you can be across the entire field and still hit this move. And not only do you trap it, you actually go for a shot or a pass, which are both fairly powerful. So yeah, counterattack is just the best move of its type in the entire game. And then finally, to top his awakening off, he has Yo Michael, which is a solid iframe instant steal. Now, it isn't as good as golden defense, but it is still a very solid ability. So yeah, that was our number 3 Don Lorenzo. Let me know how y'all are feeling about the list so far. Let's go ahead and move on to our top 2 abilities. All right, you guys, so we are finally on to our number 1 and 2 spot. Now, I'm not going to say their rankings just yet, but you already know Kaiser and Rin are the only ones we have left. And instead of actually taking them separately and talking about it, then ranking them, I'm actually going to make it a little more interesting and talk about them both and then go ahead and rank them. Because this one's a little more confusing than expected, but at the same time, it's also a clear answer, all right? A lot of people have been debating these 2 are very close, but the conclusion I actually came to is actually a lot different than what people have been saying. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about Rin first. So firstly, his Destroyer's Domain is one of the best abilities in the game right now. It is very versatile because you can use it on offense and defense. But not only that, you also get an absurdly powerful shot, all right? The strongest shot in Blue Lock Rivals. You literally just get an insane curve shot that you can just easily hit from half court. Well, not even half court. Let me say full court, all right? You can easily hit it from full court if you know what you're doing. So yeah, I mean, it's just an absolutely disgusting move. It's very overpowered. And not only do you have Destroyer's Domain, which is a steal ability / dribble ability, your next ability is actually a steal that works very similar to Botra's steal, but you actually keep your speed. All right, you keep your speed and you're even faster. So say if the ball is on the ground, use this steal move, you will keep running very fast. So yeah, this move is the best of its type in the game. All right, best steal move in the game by far, except for golden defense, of course. And then the other variant of this ability, the on ball variant, is called a collision dribble, and this is very reliable. All right, it's kind of a zombie dribble roulette type dribble move where you can use at any moment in time, and it literally just glides you down the field very easily. I'd say it's probably top 2, top 3 dribble move in the game, but y'all let me know. Now, Rin's final move is called the Annihilate Shot. Now, the Annihilate Shot is pretty much Rin's old curve shot, but much more powerful. And since it's actually a curve shot, it is extremely hard for real GKs to go against. And on top of all of this, you can also do a very handy tech called the straight curve shot tech. It pretty much just makes your curve shot straight and takes all the power and momentum it would have have in order to make the curve and turn it into a straight shot, which then makes it a super powerful shot. And on top of Rin's stacked base moveset, you also have curves in the base. Now for some people this can be a negative, but this also can be a huge positive, because like the Annihilate shot, curve shots in base can easily fake out real GKs, which is huge. And then next, Rin's Awakening. Alright, now this is a top 2 awakening along with Kaiser, arguably number 1. Rin has an auto steal move. The range isn't crazy, but it's still an auto steal, auto trap type thing. And then next he has a shot which you can literally shoot from across the entire field. Yes, I mean the entire field, not half, not in front of the goalkeeper, the entire field, alright, from GK to GK. And his next move is very solid. You can't shoot it from half court, at least not that I know of, but it is still a very solid shot. And I'm not 100% sure on this, but I'm pretty sure Rin's Awakening does get minor buffs like a stronger shot and faster speed, but once again I'm not 100% sure on that. So yeah, that was Rin, a very good contender for the number 1 spot. Now let's go ahead and talk about Kaiser. So Kaiser, yeah, let's talk about the Kaiser impact first. All right, Kaiser impact is literally a guaranteed goal off spawn, and on top of the fact you can unshift lock it, unlike Isagi's direct shot, it's one of the best in the game. And honestly, the only negative I'd say about the Kaiser impact is that if there's a real GK in the net, you can't really shoot it from half like you shoot it on an AI, unless the other GK just has the reaction time of a slug. But yeah, Kaiser impact, overall solid ability, very versatile. His next ability is the Kaiser volley. Now the Kaiser volley is top 2 hardest shots in the game for a real GK to block. For some reason the Kaiser volley is absurdly fast, and the range in which you can actually take the ball from your teammate and use this ability is very far. Like, you guys know how Isagi has the true direct shot in his Awakening. This is literally the true direct shot, but 100 times better. Like, competitive Blue Lock Rivals leagues ban this ability just because of how OP it is, but I don't really see too many people in public servers using it to its fullest extent. Now Kaiser's next moves are Emperor's Route and Subjugate. This is an off the ball variant that allows you to run around people, and after you do that move you get a move called Subjugate, which allows you to just teleport the ball from your teammate to yourself at any distance. By the way, it's literally a perfect pass, but way better than that. So even if you're not the striker on your team, you can literally carry just with this ability. Now the other variant is Emperor's Dribble. Now this dribble takes you very far down the field, and after the move you casually just get a shot identical to Isagi's direct shot, NEL Isagi's direct shot, which is the best move in his kit, by the way. So yeah, that's just insane that you just casually get a move like that. So yeah, Kaiser just has 3 shot abilities in the base moveset. All right, and finally let's go and talk about Awakening. Now his Awakening is literally just a better version of Isagi's all around. His Magnet shot is now very OP and something you can possibly shoot from half with. His bicycle kick also got a buff now, so it's actually decent. And then you do also keep your Emperor's Route and Emperor's Dribble along with their variants. So yeah, with that being said, that is Rin and Kaiser. Now it's time to talk about which one actually takes first and which one actually takes second. So I think Kaiser is honestly just very busted, and on top of all that, it is very beginner friendly, meaning that it's very easy to use. All right, you don't need a brain to use Kaiser. Like, all you do with this ability is spam your moves and look at the net and you're good. And let me also remind you guys, Kaiser has 3 shots in base. All right, he has 3 shots in base, which is insane. But yeah, let's go and talk about Rin. So Rin is the absolute entire package. All right, you got 2 steal abilities, 2 shot abilities, as well as a broken Awakening. And the only negative thing you could really say about Rin is its difficulty. Like, you can't just go in the game and hit every single Annihilate shot, and you for sure can't go in the game and hit every single Destroyer's Domain shot. But I think once you actually master Rin as an ability, it's for sure number 1, but unfortunately I'm gonna have to put it at 2. All right, meaning Kaiser is gonna be our number 1 ability and Rin's gonna be our number 2 ability. Now Rin is still super fresh in the game, so I know a lot of you guys might disagree with me, but if we put recency bias aside, Kaiser is just in a class of its own. It has 3 shots, all 3 of them potentially being able to make it from half, and his dribble is also not a letdown at all. You can literally just go down the field very easily and just press your V again and get a free goal, because yes, it does have iframes. The only thing that doesn't have iframes in his kit is the Kaiser volley, and Kaiser and Rin's Awakenings are so comparable to the point where you can consider them equal. And since Kaiser has the better base so far, I'm gonna have to put him above Rin. And the sad thing about this all is that Rin is most likely going to be getting a nerf soon, which is probably gonna put it even lower on the list, but I don't know, we'll just have to see. But yeah, with that being said, that was my list. Be sure to let me know how you guys are thinking about it. Let me know if you guys would make some changes. I'm very interested on seeing what you guys have to say in the comments below. But yeah, y'all have a blessed rest of your day or night. Peace.